Let's look at the basic tempo and swing controls. Now I have a little pattern programmed up, and I'm basically vamping on an F7 chord. Now I've got Animator on. I've called up, in the R&B genre, I've called up this song called The Session, and from there I'm triggering the note that falls on G1, and I've got a little sequence programmed up here with just this one note. It's hitting an F natural, just one note as you can see, and that's going to trigger the phrase that's going to play back in the animator. And let's just listen to it at the regular speed, and I'm going to put the swing all the way down so it's playing it straight. So it works, but it's not really locked in terms of the groove, because the groove, the drums, and the piano and the bass have a bit of a swing to them. So let's dial some up and let's hear it like that. That'll probably work. An amount like that will probably be in the ballpark. So that works nicely. It kind of mirrors the same kind of feel. Let's try a bit more. This might be a bit too much. Pretty good. Probably somewhere in the middle would work best. And if we go too much, then the second 16th in the phrases will be delayed too much, and it'll have too much of a lilting kind of feel, and it just won't really flow smoothly. It just doesn't swing that way, at least not with the groove that I have programmed. Probably around there will work nicely. Now we can also play it back at half speed. Let's listen to that. So all I've changed here is press that button. It's the same trigger note, same phrase, same accompaniment. So those first notes, the swing doesn't work when it's played back at half speed. I think we need it really straight because it's da, 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 da. It's eighth notes. It's not 16ths. So it needs to be kind of straight and right on. That's much better because the 16th notes are what's swung in the groove, not the eighths. So that works nicely with no swing. So that works. Now we can play it back at double speed, and this pattern probably won't work well with this kind of groove and this kind of tempo, but let's listen to it. Doesn't quite work. Some patterns work better than others. Let's put it back and get our swing value around where we like it. So what I've been doing here is triggering an F, a single note, and it's voicing it to fit over F major or F7, and it works fine. Now suppose I have F minor. Well, here I've got the same groove programmed up. I've changed the piano chords to play an F minor 7, and on this note that's triggering the animator, I've added in an A flat, so I'm playing both notes now, the F and the A flat, and that's going to play the same pattern, but it's going to minorize it. So we can use one note. Now if I hit just the F, we'll hear it trigger its pattern as it's meant to be played. But the two notes together, F and A flat, minorize it. And I can spell out other chords. Let's say I hit F, B flat, and D. I'm now playing a B flat, E, G, and C. So I can really play my own chords and have it play that pattern over my own chords. Let's see what that looks and sounds like. Here I've got a little pattern programmed up, F minor 7, E flat major 7, D flat 7, C7. Now I have the same genre and song and pattern being triggered here, and I've played in the root and third for each of those chords, F and A flat, then E flat and G, then D flat and F, and then C and E, and that'll work nicely. The pattern now will outline those chords. So that works nicely, but we can voice these notes that we're triggering differently, and it'll create different voicings in the animator pattern. So here's the same accompaniment, same chords, and I've voiced these two trigger notes differently. Here, for the F minor, I'm going A flat and the F up high, and then G, and then the E flat up high, and you'll see that it triggers different ranges in the instruments, and it creates some nice variations in the voicing. So it works nicely, and I didn't keep the intervals consistent, so I've really varied the voicings by using different spacings here. And here's one more variation on the same chord pattern using different notes. So for the F minor, I'm using A flat and C instead of F and A flat. And again, this will yield some slightly different variations in the voicings. So the extensions are a little bit more away from the chord tones, so you may or may not like these kinds of voicings, but the idea being that you can get different voicings by carefully choosing which notes you're triggering these animator patterns with. So I'm going to end off here, and we'll continue looking at more of the animator in the next video.